Okay, students, today we are going to discuss chapter number 10, the first chapter of physics, and that is light, reflection and refraction of light. Alright, so the question arises, first question that you need to understand is what is light? Okay, light is a form of energy. Okay, that's the first thing. Light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy. It is the most important form of energy. Why? Because light surrounds us everywhere. Wherever we go, we see light everywhere. And remember, we can see because of the property of reflection of light. If light does not get reflected, we will not be able to see. For example, you can see me right now because of the property of reflection of light. Okay? At the same time, when you go around, you see different objects around you. In your own house, you see different objects around you. Okay, all that is possible because of the phenomenon of reflection of light. If light is not reflected at all, then you will not be able to see objects at all. Any object which absorbs light completely will become invisible. It will become black. Okay, and an object which reflects light becomes visible. If an object it absorbs all except one particular color. For example, an object like this whiteboard, okay, it appears white because it reflects all the colors, so it appears white. A black color, for example, this one, this black color, it appears black because it absorbs all color. This one reflects all colors of light. A blue colored object appears blue because it absorbs all colors except blue. It reflects blue colored light. So that is a unique property of light. But light is a form of energy. Okay? Light surrounds us. And light has got certain properties. For example, light has got frequency. Okay? It has got wavelength. And the third thing that we talk about light is the speed. And of course, it travels in a straight line. Travels in a straight line. You see, first I'm trying to discuss only a few basic properties of light. What is light? Light is a form of energy. Light has got certain characteristic features. What are those characteristic features? Light has frequency, light has got wavelength, light has got speed, and light travels in a straight line. Now, for example, the light travels as, see these waves. These waves are called transverse waves. These waves are called transverse waves. And light travels as transverse waves. This is how light travels. Okay. So light travels as a series of crests and troughs. You see, this is called a crest, and this is called a trough. This is called a trough. Crest and trough. Crest and trough. This again is a crest. And this distance is called a wavelength, lambda. Okay, it's called wavelength. And the number of times it goes up and down in a second is called its frequency. Different colored light. Okay, let's understand. See, monochromatic, monochromatic light. Monochromatic light means light of one color. Okay, and polychromatic light. Polychromatic light. Light of many colors. For example, sunlight. Sunlight is a light having different colors. That's why it's called polychromatic light. A laser light is a monochromatic light. A light from a laser has got one particular color. For example, the toys that children play with, that laser toy, it has got a red colored pointer, and therefore that is a red colored light. It is a monochrome. Mono means one. Chroma means color. The word chroma means color. Okay, so this is monochromatic light, a laser light. For example, a laser light. A laser light is generally monochromatic. Sunlight is polychromatic. Polychromatic because it has got many colors. It is a mixture of 7 different colors, and that is why it appears. Yeah, it appears yellowish white in color because of the mixture of different colors. Alright, so light is a form of energy. Light has frequency, it is a characteristic feature. Then light has got wavelength, that is another feature. Then it has got speed or what we call velocity. Light always travels in a straight line, and light travels in a series of crest and trough. These waves are called transverse waves. Unlike sound waves travel as longitudinal waves, which we studied in class 9. That sound waves travel in a, they are mechanical waves. These are not mechanical waves. Light waves are non-mechanical waves. Non-mechanical waves. Why are they non-mechanical waves? Because they can propagate in vacuum. Light can travel in vacuum, but sound cannot travel in vacuum. Sound requires a medium for its propagation, and that's why sound waves are called mechanical waves. But light waves are called non-mechanical waves because they can travel through vacuum. Okay, so light can travel through vacuum, sound cannot. Light travels through through vacuum. It can travel through vacuum. Okay, it travels in a straight line. Actually, light can bend. Okay, but we'll come to that later on when we discuss other kinds of features of light. But basically, just understand one thing: that light always travels in a straight line, and light is made up of different components, different colors. Light is a series of transverse waves, crest and trough. Okay, light has got frequency, light has got wavelength, and the velocity of light. The velocity of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 to power 8 meters per second, or 3 lakh kilometers, 3 lakh kilometers per second. Okay, see this 3 into 10 to power 8 meters per second. That is the velocity of light in vacuum. Okay, this is in vacuum. The velocity of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 to power 8 meters per second, or 3 lakh kilometers per second. And that is why it is possible to see everything around us. Light travels so fast. The moment you open your eyes, you can see the world around you. Why? Because the speed with which light hits your eyes. Okay? And that light rays travel to your brain and you can see objects around you. But that is the extraordinary speed of light. In comparison to this, the speed of sound. Okay? Speed of sound in air is about 340 meters per second. 340 meters per second. Compare this with this one. Compare this. This is the speed of light. Okay? And this is the speed of sound. Sound travels in air. Sound cannot travel in vacuum. Sound can travel only in air, water, solids, and so on. It requires a medium. Sound waves are mechanical waves. Light waves are not mechanical. They are non-mechanical waves because they can propagate in vacuum. But the speed of light, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second, or 3 lakh kilometers in second. Look at the speed of sound in air, 340 meters per second. So sound is much, much slower compared to light. So sometimes you see during the monsoon season especially, you see thunder and lightning. But the lightning is always seen first and then it is heard because sound travels much slower compared to light. So these are some of the properties of light. Okay. After we have understood the properties of light, then we will understand two more properties, reflection and refraction. Once again, okay, light is a form of energy. Light travels, actually light travels as a series of, it travels as a series of what are called photons. Photons. These photons are actually packets of energy. Packets of energy. Okay? They travel as a series of photons, they are packets of energy. And light is a form of energy. Light always travels in a straight line. Okay? That's why, for example, if somebody is talking to you and is in a different classroom, okay, then you can hear his voice, but you can't see him because light can only travel in a straight line. Whereas sound can spread and it can bend. So someone standing behind the wall, I can hear him, but I can't see him. Correct? So light always travels in a straight line. Light has got wavelength and frequency. It's a characteristic feature of light. Light travels as transverse waves. Light waves are non-mechanical waves because they can propagate in vacuum. Contrary to that, sound waves are mechanical waves. Sound waves cannot travel in vacuum. Okay, sound waves are not transverse waves; they are longitudinal waves. And the speed of light is extremely fast. It travels at the speed of 3 to 10 to the power 8 meters per second or 3 lakh kilometers per second in vacuum. When light travels through air and water, it slows down a little bit, but not much. Just a little bit it slows down, and the difference is there, but the difference is not too much. The speed of light in vacuum is fastest, and it is constant throughout vacuum. This is how light will travel. All right. So these are some of the properties of light. The light that we see from the sun, it is a polychromatic light. Poly means many, chroma means color. Polychromatic light means light of different colors. Sunlight is a mixture of 7 different colors. And when you see a rainbow, you can see different colors. Okay? So, and laser light, because it is monochromatic, only one single color. Now we come to what is reflection and refraction. Okay? And that is where your chapter actually begins. I just wanted to introduce to you about what light really is and how light has gotten certain characteristic features. Alright. Now, after that, let us see reflection and refraction. Okay, so the whole chapter is divided into two parts. On one hand, you will see reflection, okay, and then you will also study about refraction. Reflection and refraction. Alright, here you will study first of all surfaces. Surfaces from which reflection takes place. Reflection can take place from a regular surface, or it can take place from an irregular surface. Okay. A regular surface is like this whiteboard. It is extremely smooth. Okay. The laws of light are they are evident in this. You can actually see all the laws of reflection light are observed when this surface is very smooth. Okay, the surface of your monitor, computer monitor, or the surface of a plain mirror, they are regular surfaces. But the surface of a book, okay, or the surface of the wall, it is rough surface. That rough surface is an irregular surface. See, for example, this one. MN is a mirror. Okay, let us suppose this is a mirror, and this is a road. So suppose the surface of a road. This is irregular surface, and this is a regular surface. Okay, the laws of light can be observed very clearly out here. Okay, so you will see surfaces in reflection. There are surfaces which are regular and surfaces which are irregular. For example, in this case, the ray of light, this is called an incident ray of light. When it hits the surface, it travels back in this direction, this way. Okay, so this line out here, which is perpendicular to that, it is called the normal. This is called the incident ray. This is called the incident ray. This is called the reflected ray. And this is called the normal. This is called the reflecting surface. This is the reflecting surface. This is the normal to the reflecting surface. This is called the point of incidence. This is called the incident ray. This is the reflected ray. Point of incidence. And normal to the reflecting surface at the point of incidence. Now, this is the regular surface. And this angle is called the angle of incidence. This angle is called the angle of reflection. Angle of incidence, the measure of angle of incidence will always be equal to measure of angle of reflection. But when the surface is regular, when the surface is not regular, then you see it may not be. For example, if it hits here, okay, this is the incident ray, and the reflected ray may be like this, okay, and this is the normal. You can see these two angles are not equal. Okay, so when the surface is irregular, the laws of reflection of light are not observed. When the surface is regular, you can actually observe the rays of reflection of light, obeying the laws of reflection of light. So, there are two types of surfaces, basically regular surfaces and irregular surfaces. Smooth surfaces are called regular surfaces, such as the surface of a monitor, the surface of this whiteboard, the surface of a plain mirror, and so on. Irregular surfaces, rough surfaces are called irregular surfaces. For example, okay, the surface of the floor, the surface of the wall, or the road surface. They are irregular surfaces. There are bumps and holes, okay, which do not allow the laws of reflection of light to be followed. So the laws of reflection of light are obeyed when the surface is regular. The laws of reflection of light are not obeyed when the surface is not regular. Okay. So what are those laws of reflection of light? Number one, the first law. There are two laws of reflection of light. Number one, the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence. They all lie in the same plane. They lie in the same plane. Okay? They lie in the same plane. What lies in the same plane? The incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence. They lie in the same plane. And the second law is that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection for a regular surface. The angle of incidence will always be equal to angle of reflection. These are the two laws of reflection of light. Okay, we will study refraction afterwards. Let us only concentrate on reflection first. Okay, so once again, surfaces are two types: regular surfaces and irregular surfaces. Regular surfaces obey the laws of reflection of light. Irregular surfaces do not obey the laws of reflection of light. There are two laws of reflection of light. The first law of reflection of light states that the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence, they all lie in the same plane. Okay, example is this one, a regular surface. This is the mirror. N is a mirror. Okay, this is your incident ray. This is the reflected ray. This is the normal. The angle of incidence. What is the angle of incidence? The angle of incidence is the angle between the incident ray and the normal. And what is the angle of reflection? The angle of reflection is the angle formed between the reflected ray and the normal. These two angles measures are always equal. If this is 45 degrees, then this is also 45 degrees. But this again is for a regular surface. The same laws of light are not, the same laws of reflection of light are not obeyed by a regular, irregular surface. So that is about reflection and regular, irregular surfaces, laws of reflection of light. Alright, now you see when we talk about reflection, okay, remember we will talk about refraction afterwards. The first we are talking only about reflection. So when we talk about reflection and reflecting surfaces, alright. So the first one is we discuss about types of mirrors. Okay, the types of mirror. Now you see when we consider types of mirrors, generally the first thing that comes to mind is a plane mirror. A plane mirror. Okay, a plane mirror is a simple mirror, the one which you use in your house, in your bathroom every day. Okay, the properties of a plane mirror are slightly different. And then we talk about curved mirrors. These curved mirrors are also called spherical mirrors. They are also called spherical mirrors. Why are they called spherical mirrors? Because the surface is curved. Okay, there are two types of curved mirrors. One is a concave mirror and the other is a convex mirror. Okay, concave and convex mirrors. Of course, there are other types of mirrors also. For example, if you visited a fair, a fun fair, okay. For example, during the month of August, generally there is a fair in places like Rajkot. If you have visited that, or there is what is called the Hall of Mirrors. Hall of Mirrors. Okay. Here in this Hall of Mirrors, you will find different kinds of mirrors. And if you stand in front of the Hall of Mirrors in a particular mirror, concave or convex, you will look different. In a plane mirror, you look exactly as you are. Okay. In a convex mirror, you look slightly different. So, for example, in a plane mirror, okay, in a plane mirror, there is lateral inversion. That is called lateral inversion. Now, what is this lateral inversion? Lateral inversion means the left becomes right. If you stand in front of a mirror, you raise your right hand, you look at the image looks as if it is raising its left hand. So the left becomes right. Your right side of the face becomes the left side of the image. And your left side of the face becomes the right side of the image. That is called lateral inversion. The word lateral means side. Inversion means opposite. So left becomes right and right becomes left. But that is in a plane mirror. And also image distance. Image distance is always equal to object distance. Now, what is meaning of image distance is equal to object distance? So, if you stand in front of a plane mirror, the further you go away, the image also seems to go further away. So, if I come close to a mirror, then the image in the mirror also seems to come very close together. That means, when you go closer, the image also comes closer. When you go further away, the image also goes further away. When you come closer, the image also comes closer. So the image distance will always be equal to object distance. That is in case of a plane mirror. Also, you will find that the image formed is virtual. We will discuss this in detail. Virtual and erect. Okay. Erect means it is not upside down. This is an object. If it is, this is called erect. If I pull it up down like this is called inverted image. Upside down. Inverted image. A virtual image is always erect. So what happens in a plane mirror? In a plane mirror, you find lateral inversion. The image distance will always be equal to object distance, and the image formed will always be virtual and erect. These are the images formed by a plane mirror. Okay, and we have all experienced plane mirrors. We experience plane mirrors on a day-to-day basis everywhere. In your house also, you go to school, bathroom, wherever you go, you will see plane mirrors. These are the ones which are used every day, but they have got limited use. Okay, basically these mirrors are slightly different. Now, curved mirrors or spherical mirrors. Now, why are they called curved mirrors? Because the surface is curved. Look at a concave mirror. Okay, in a concave mirror, the shape is like this, and this part is painted black. Okay, it is painted black. This part, it is painted any color. It cannot be painted not necessarily black. It can be any color, but it is painted black, and this part is shiny. This part is shiny. It is polished, or it may be also painted with silver to make it more shiny. So this is a concave mirror. On the other hand, a convex mirror is like this. Okay, this part is painted black. This part, the inner part, is painted black, and this part is silver. This is polished. This part. So it becomes a convex mirror. So a concave mirror is basically painted black on the outer surface. The inner surface is shiny and it acts as a mirror, like a spoon. For example, you take a spoon. Okay, in a spoon, let us suppose this is a spoon. Okay, this part, the outer part and the inner part are different. This becomes concave, and this becomes convex in a spoon. Okay, so concave mirrors and convex mirrors, they are called spherical mirrors for a particular reason. But understand, they are called curved mirrors because the surface is curved. Right? It is not like a plane mirror. Now the other thing that you must understand also, that why are they called spherical mirrors? There is a reason why they are called spherical mirrors. Take this for example. See, suppose you have got a metal ball, a ball of metal, okay, polished metal, and then you cut this part. Okay, you cut it here. This is a spherical, say a spherical metal ball. This is a spherical metal ball, and you cut it from here. You cut this part. Okay, you cut it from here. So when you cut it, this is what you get. This part. Okay, and this part, it becomes a mirror. Okay, a spherical mirror. But why is it called a spherical mirror? Because it has been cut from a sphere. उसको sphere में से cut किया, and that is why it is called a spherical mirror, and that is why it is curved. But basically, you see, this is the center of the mirror, the center of the sphere, and then if you draw a straight line like this, okay, then this is the center of the mirror, right? And this part is called the pole of the lens, the pole. Okay, it is also called vertex. It is also called center. Call it a vertex or a pole or center. And this line, okay, this imaginary line, it is an imaginary line. This imaginary line is called the principal axis. The principal axis. Okay, this C is the center of the sphere, and therefore it is called the center of curvature. This C is called center of curvature. The center of curvature. Alright, C is called the center of curvature. But this distance, let us call this point as O. You can also call it P, but let us suppose I call it O, the vertex or pole or center. Then this distance OC is called the radius of curvature. Radius of curvature. Okay, OC is called the radius of curvature. And then you see the midway point, the point in between, okay, is called this OF is equal to CF is equal to half OC. Okay, OF rather OF is equal to CF and that is equal to half of OC. Here F is called the focal point or focus. It is called the focal point or focus. The point which is halfway between OC, the distance. So once again, why are they called spherical mirrors? They are called spherical mirrors because they are basically cut from a metallic sphere. If you have a nice shiny surface metallic sphere and you cut a small portion from it, then you will get a mirror like this. Okay. Now, if you want to make it into a convex or concave mirror, depends upon which side. Supposing I polish this, make this black, okay, and make this polish this part, then it becomes a concave mirror. But if I do the opposite, it becomes a convex mirror. But basically, convex and concave mirrors are all made from a cut from a sphere. And because they are cut from a sphere, they are called spherical mirrors or curved mirrors. These curved mirrors, you see, they are made from a sphere. So there is a center. This center of the sphere is called the center of curvature of the mirror. And O, the center of this part, the center of the curved surface, that center of the curved surface is called the vertex or the center or pole of the mirror. And the distance OC is called the center of curvature. Rather, C is called the center of curvature, OC is called the radius of curvature. This distance OC. The point which is halfway between the length OC, that is called the focus of the mirror. And this distance OF is called the focal length. Okay, OF is called focal length. Focal length of the mirror. So, and this imaginary line which passes through the center, through the focus, and through the center of the lens, center of the mirror, that imaginary line is called the principal axis. Okay, and every curved mirror has got a principal axis. Every curved mirror has got a center of curvature. Every curved mirror has got a focus, and every curved mirror has got a center or vertex, or it has got what is called the pole of the mirror. Okay, so remember this is an imaginary line; it's not really a line. And when you get a part of this, if the inner surface is polished, you get a concave mirror. If the outer surface is polished, you get a convex mirror. So that is how curved mirrors or spherical mirrors are formed. Now, these are the simple explanations for that. And then images are formed. The image is formed by a plane mirror. I already told you it's lateral inversion. Left becomes right, right becomes left. Then image distance is always equal to object distance. If you come close to a plane mirror, the image also comes closer. If you go further away from a plane mirror, the image also goes further away. And of course, the image is always virtual and it is erect. When you look in the mirror, you are not upside down. Okay? In the mirror, you are always like this, not like this. And therefore, it is virtual and erect. But we want to study the same things with respect to curved mirrors. What happens when images are formed by curved mirrors, by a concave mirror and by a convex mirror? So the next topic should be about what happens when images are formed by a convex and a concave mirror. Now, this obviously is different. Now, let us just see, for example, I'll show you one today, okay? Then we'll carry on tomorrow with different images. Let's see what happens when image is formed by a concave mirror. Let us take first one, image formation by a concave mirror. Image formation by a concave mirror. Alright, image formation by a concave mirror. So, first of all, let us say this is your principal axis and this is your curved mirror, okay, concave mirror. This is the outer surface which is painted black, okay, painted black. Let us call this M dash or MN. Alright? This is the curved mirror. Now measure this. This is the pole. O is the pole, or you can even call it P. Pole or center or vertex. Measure equal distance. Suppose this is equal distance. Okay. You must measure it accurately with the help of a scale. Let us call this as F, the focus, and this the center. Alright. Now supposing I place an object here, a lateral object. That means a vertical object. AB is the object. Here, this is the object, AB. Alright. Now, one ray of light travels straight. It is parallel to the principal axis. This is the principal axis. It is parallel to the principal axis, and after reflection, okay, it passes through the focus. After reflection, it passes through the focus. It is traveling this way and then passes through the focus. The other ray of light passes straight through the focus, okay, and then is reflected this way. So the other ray of light has gone this way. Now the point where they meet, you see, the point where they meet, an image is formed. Here an image is formed. This is called A dash and B dash. This is your image. Okay. Now what kind of image is? The image is real. If it is inverted, it is called a real image. Real and inverted. The image is real and inverted. You see, there are two types of images which are formed. One is a real image, and the other image is called a virtual image. A real image and a virtual image. Now, a real image is formed when the rays of light actually meet. Rays of light meet after reflection. The rays of light meet after reflection. Here the rays of light appear to meet. Light appear to meet. Okay? The rays of light appear to meet after reflection. They don't meet, but they appear to meet. I'll explain this later on when we do these things. Then the second point of difference is that the real image is always inverted. Always inverted. Inverted means it is always upside down, not straight. Okay? A virtual image is always erect. Alright? The third point of difference is a real image is formed in front of the mirror. In front of the mirror. A real image is always formed in front of the mirror, whereas a virtual image is always formed behind the mirror. Behind the mirror. Okay, so these are three main differences. This image is not, you can see it is inverted, so it is real. Had it been upside down, this is upside down, had it been erect, then it would be a virtual image. But we will learn about that later on. Right now, what you want to understand is image formation by a concave mirror. This is your concave mirror. Outer surface is black, inner surface is polished. Okay. This imaginary line is the principal axis. This is the focus. This is the pole of the mirror or vertex or center. This is the center of curvature. A linear object means straight object. This linear object AB is placed at a distance greater than the center of curvature. And an image is formed here after the rays of light. One ray of light is parallel to the principal axis, the other one passes through the focus and is formed here. And you can see the image is inverted and therefore it is real image. It is slightly bigger also, it is slightly magnified. But we will come to that later on what magnification means. For the time being, this should be enough. Tomorrow I will carry on with this lesson in progress. So just make sure that you read this, review it carefully, study what I have explained, also listen to it tomorrow. And tomorrow we will carry on with this. For the time being, have a nice day, stay safe.